Rally. Well, Christmas shopping is well underway. Christmas-related searches up a staggering 508%. It does seem that online stores are becoming ever more popular. For more on this, I'm joined by Getprice Chief Executive Chris Hitchen with me in the studio. Chris, a warm welcome to you. Staggering statistics as well. And it's a hot time of year.
It's a very hot time of year.
What's flying? You know, what is flying? It's one item in particular.
Yeah, so we've had, we saw this last year as well when in a hot patch, and this year it's the hottest on record for I think 2 years or something. So what do we see? People going outdoors, they're cooking up their barbecues, they're searching for air conditioners and fans, as well as the barbecue. So it's a real outdoor theme. And you talk about Santa Claus Rally, we have seen in online shopping a rally over the last 2 months. So we see about mid-October, traffic really starts to boom. The interesting thing this year is it's been slightly slower than last year in terms of the uplift in traffic and online searches, and slightly later than last year. So I'm not sure why, but people seem to be leaving their Christmas shopping a little bit later this year.
Trying to bag a late bargain, believing some retailers will slash and burn the closer we get to witching hour?
I believe so. And if we track, for example, category prices, and if you look at laptops and TVs, we've seen flat screen TVs, that category, prices have dropped about 5% over the last 2 months as retailers start to discount and try and hit their sales targets for Christmas, and laptops are down 2% in price.
And so, is that something, again, that you see from year to year this time of year?
Yeah, it is. And we see it sort of typically throughout the year, lots of discounting going on. I think we've talked before about the sort of perpetual state of discounting that's going on in retail. And that seems to be... You've got the two sets of retailers, of course. You've got those that are everyday lowest price and the others that are discount, high-low retailers. But we've seen it this time of year particularly.
Let's just put it into focus as well. We've had developments this year with Trade Practices Act, the Competition Commissioner saying, look, if you're on the high street, you've got an obligation, if you're cutting your prices, to make clear what the final price is. Don't bury exceptions in fine print. Yep. Those rules are not, you know, something that just applies to the high street. It's very much online as well. Yeah,
and I think it's been a little bit like the Wild West in the past, which is not good for the industry. I think I welcome tighter regulation by the ACCC in terms of making sure that online retailers measure up. I mean,
have we seen any test cases on it though, Chris, to actually catch out the cowboys?
Look, I don't think anybody's been taken to task all the way yet. I think we'll see that happening now. So there's been some smaller cases of smaller retailers that perhaps most people wouldn't have heard of.
And just in fairness, you know, you're hosting a lot of these entities. If they're offshore advertisers, are you concerned, Chris, that you might actually have to carry the can on that? They can't, you know, you can't escape yourself.
Yeah, look, so no, I'm not concerned about that. We actually work with any retailer that meets a certain level of certain minimum requirements, okay? So it's things like, can I buy from them online with secure ordering system? My credit card details are going to be safe. Will I get the product? How long is the delivery going to take? All of those things. So where the distinction is important for the customer, and where we try and make customers understand that it's not always about the cheapest being the best. When a retailer is drop shipping or grey importing, so you're actually ordering from them on an Australian website, but they don't hold the stock in Australia, they're sending it direct from the warehouse in Hong Kong or wherever it might be to your door. I believe this is where the ACCC is focusing, and that's where we also go to every length we can to ensure a customer understands who they're buying from, and also what is the warranty on that product, because it's typically going to be different from that grey importer than it is from Officeworks down the street. So we have the full gamut of offers online. We try and give consumers the choice. Some people opt to buy the cheapest and aren't so concerned about a warranty. Other people would prefer to have that warranty and the assurance they're buying from a retailer around the corner, so they can walk it back in store.
So is it fair to say cheap can be expensive on that front? Because if you're going your warranties, you know, you're going in with your eyes open, you're telling people about that, but it ain't necessarily going to result in a satisfactory long-term outcome.
Yeah, I believe so. I don't think cheap is always the best value. And at the end of the day, why are we happy that the ACCC is looking at this? Well, you know, it'll grow the industry. Customers, 10 years ago, remember there was all the people were very concerned about putting their credit cards online, and that's less of a concern these days. But if people only need one bad experience to order something and not get it, or to order it, get it, and then try and return it and not be able to, and they're tainted. So, you know, as an industry, we're very interested in looking at reducing, I suppose, the disadvantage of online.
What's been the biggest shift this year that you've observed when it comes? It's been interesting that you've noted as well, big online retailers have really started to cement their presence, take it seriously, recognise that they've got to be in this space. You know, if they're big outside of online, they should equally make it into this space.
Yep. So we saw Officeworks do a big sort of relaunch of their website and web operations earlier in the year. That's been very successful for them. This week, I believe, Harvey Norman's relaunched their site. Now, they're not selling online yet, but they have put prices online, which is quite a big step. And they're actually going down the path of, rather than just trying to put products and prices online, they're putting buying guides and content and how-to guides, which I think is fantastic.
What about like the grocery watch that never fired? Are we going to see people ordering their vegetables, their meats and things online? And are you going to be able to kind of be in that space?
We'd love to facilitate that. The issue there, Carson, is around how do you get the data, how do you get the pricing data, and that was the issue that the Choice and the government had. Getting the data off the likes of Woolworths and Coles is not easy. Look, I think you can have a halfway house. To get pure pricing transparency in that on a national level is a big task.
But not impossible.
Not impossible, and I think you can go for baskets of goods. The other guys we've actually seen do very well is Witchery online.
And what do they do?
So Witchery is a fashion retailer, big national retailer in Australia. They have other brands like Mimco, owned by private equity group, and they now have said that their third biggest store is their online store in terms of revenue, and it's their biggest in terms of profit. They expect that to change, so it will become their #1 store in terms of revenue and profit.
Because you can't try stuff on online. Bit of a gamble there, isn't it?
Well, I don't think so. I think if the service is good enough, so first of all, if the images and the experience online is good enough to give you an idea of what you need, and then if you get the service, you get it shipped to you the next day or the day after, you can return it if you need to. Yeah. For a lot of people, that's convenience.
And if you're a size 8, you can get it taken, and even if it comes in about a size 8.5, right?
Around Christmas time, yeah.
Exactly. You have a great Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And we'll look forward to talking more into 2010. Appreciate your contribution this year.
Thanks, guys.
Right. Chris Hitchen there from Getprice. Let's take